Following is a production of DallasCowboys.com and the Dallas Cowboys Football Club.
How about them Cowboys?
Yeah, go Cowboys! This is Mick Shots. Streaming live on DallasCowboys.com and the official Dallas Cowboys app. Now, here are Bill Jones, Savannah Humoller, Everson Walls, and Mickey Spagnola.
You know, the first time that Stampede was played after a Cowboys-Dolphins game, it was some 51 years ago. More than 51 years ago now. It was January 16th, 1972. That's when the Dallas Cowboys went down to New Orleans and beat the Miami Dolphins 24-3 to win Super Bowl VI.
Was that the first time they played the song?
That's the first time they played the song after a Cowboys-Dolphins game.
Oh, after.
Because that was the first meeting ever between the Cowboys and the Dolphins, was the Dwayne Thomas game when the Cowboys beat the Dolphins. And I wish Everson was here so he could hear the Dwayne Thomas game.
That specific game.
The win over the Dolphins in the Super Bowl. And here we are, 51 years later, and it's the Cowboys and the Dolphins, two 10-4 teams playing on Christmas Eve. And here we are with your earliest pregame show possible.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Earliest Christmas Eve show, too, by the way. We'll get you ready for Christmas Eve, too.
I couldn't find my Santa hat. I was going to wear a Santa hat today. I think I gave it away or something last year.
I thought of it, and then I got in a rush to leave because I've got a blue Cowboys
Santa hat. Yeah.
You guys should have worn them.
I should have, but...
Gosh, get in the Christmas spirit,
I know.
guys. Come on.
I was in the Christmas spirit. I just didn't think ahead of time to go find it, or I could have stopped by a store on the way.
Savannah's in the Christmas spirit.
She is. I got a present. She gave me a gift. She give you a gift?
I got one, too.
Okay. I thought I was the special
one. Up on my desk.
Producer Supreme, he got one as well. Everson was the only one that missed out today.
I did.
All right. Well, you got time on Everson.
Exactly.
Yeah. So
he'll get
Everson's not going to be back till Tuesday.
Give him
Unless
a New
he
Year's
shows
gift.
up on Monday, but we'll find out.
Yeah, that's right.
Good one.
Yeah.
Very good.
All right. So it's a fabulous football Friday, getting you set for a Christmas weekend full of games. Got kicked off, actually, last night. You know, if you're going to pick a Thursday night game to play in, if you had to play on a Thursday night, which every team does, and you had your choice of Thursday night games to play in, this would be the week to do it. Because the Rams and the Saints, they got to play on Thursday night, and then Sean McVay told the Rams after the game, come back Tuesday. I don't want to see you again till Tuesday, the day after Christmas.
Well, that's pretty good. That's a nice break.
Real nice
right?
for them.
And by the way, they earned it, and they have earned it really almost going back to when they came in here and lost to the Cowboys 43-20 in October. I think they lost the next week, and Stafford was hurt, and then they had a bye week. Do you realize what the Rams have done since then now?
They are on a hot streak.
They have won 5 of their last 6 games. And Matthew Stafford, you talk about if he did this over the entire season, he'd be in that MVP conversation.
So
the way he's playing right now.
Are they above 500 now?
They are. They're 8-7.
8-7.
Yeah.
So they're in the mix for a
they're definitely
team.
they're right in there.
Absolutely.
Yes, they are right in there. And if you look, they play at the Giants next week. Then they will finish against San Francisco, which likely will be a game that San Francisco doesn't have to win and be playing backups. And they're looking at a 10-7 record. And which gets back to my question from earlier in the week as it relates to the Cowboys. Would you rather, in the first round of the playoffs, host the Rams or the Seahawks? And the Seahawks, by the way, have a good shot at they play at the Jets this week, and at the top, I think they maybe have Pittsburgh and Arizona. But anyway, they have a chance of finishing 10-7 too. Would you rather host the Rams or the Seahawks, or go on the road and play at Tampa Bay in the first round of the playoffs?
I think earlier this week I said go on the road, but
Yes.
I've changed my mind.
Have you really?
I have. I think actually playing at home first might just give the guys the pep and the step that they need going into that next round. But I might pick Seattle
Oh yeah.
over the Rams if that was the case.
Well,
If I go on the road, who do I got to play next?
no, I'm not. I'm talking. No, the question is
'Cause that's the
first
catch.
round.
That's the catch.
It is. That's right. But first round of the playoffs.
Because the second
would-
round, I'm getting San Francisco.
or you're
right?
getting Philadelphia.
Yeah, one of the two.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I don't get my choice.
I just don't like them being on the road the whole time. You know, like if that was the scenario where they're on the road all through the playoffs, you might as well have one at home. You
Right.
know, I
Yeah.
like
Now,
the home
and I know.
advantage.
I know.
More than likely, you'll have two at home if that's the case.
Yeah.
Because you have the number 2 seed, right?
Well, no, we're talking. Yeah. Right. Exactly.
Yeah.
Yes,
If you-
yeah.
if you have a
would.
home game, you
yes.
win the
Yes.
division, so
Right.
you'll be the
right.
number 2 seed.
Right. Right.
I'll take home. I'd
What would
rather
be-
play Tampa Bay, but I'll take home. That's a good one.
And we just saw Seattle come in here, and it was a
So do you
tight
realize
game.
right now the Rams, other than technically Philadelphia, is the only team not leading a division with a winning record? They're 8-7, right? Mm-hmm. Everybody in the New Orleans lost, so they're 7-8. But
That's it.
Tampa Bay's 7-7,
Right.
and then second place in the
In Seattle right now, 7-7.
in the
right.
North, Minnesota's 7-7. Yeah, and Seattle's 7-7.
I mean, if you look at the remaining schedule for the Rams and the Seahawks, you can make a case that both of them could win their remaining games and both finish 10-7. It looks like, if you just look at the schedule going forward, that there's going to be 3 playoff teams come out of the NFC West. San Francisco, and as well as the Rams and the Seahawks. Now we'll see. They can easily spit the bit too the
Right.
last couple of weeks of the season, but it's very interesting, and the coaching job that McVay has done with the Rams is pretty
Well,
remarkable.
he's turned him around, and that offense looked awfully good. If you think about it,
Now they got a healthy Cooper Kupp to go along with
Right.
a potential Rookie of the Year in Puka Nacua, who has 97 catches now for 1,327 yards.
he's no C.D. Lamb, though.
No,
Very true.
I just thought I'd throw that out.
no, he
do
was
you
a
realize-
fifth round. Okay, we're talking a fifth-round draft pick.
Yeah.
Okay, and last year's fifth-round draft pick is their running back, Kieran Williams,
And
who, by the way, this run that they're on right now is coincided with Kieran Williams coming back to the lineup for them. He was out. In fact, he did not play against the Cowboys.
he
and
was the one
Cowboys
when
went
he
over.
scored the touchdown. He went and gave the ball to his mother.
Yes, yeah. Nice touch.
So that was they were up 30-7 with 12:44 to go before the Saints actually started scoring points and got it to 30-22. And then the onside kick didn't recover it, and then they got one first down and kneeled out the game. But it got close at the end, one possession,
Kind of, sort of.
sort of.
Yeah. All right. So,
So here we are.
and
Here we are.
we had the coach talk this morning on the radio.
Yes.
We had the owner, president, and general manager talk on the radio this morning. And big time concern at left tackle for this team right now.
Sounds that way, doesn't it?
bit.
Sounded like at least Zach Martin would do a little bit on Saturday, and they felt pretty confident that he likely would be able to play. I'm guessing they're going to list him as questionable. And then Tyron Smith, not as much. And as Mike McCarthy continues to say, we'll see what he does, if he does anything on Saturday. and that'll make the determining factor if he's able to play on Sunday.
And if he had to say who was ahead of the other right now?
Zach Martin.
Yeah.
Easily. So. And it sounded like he was going to take a part in the walkthrough today. So if he can do the walkthrough and just kind of get the mental part of it down, even if he doesn't do much tomorrow, they'll just get him ready to go on Sunday. And I've seen him walking around. He's walking well.
Okay.
If that means
so he's going to be okay in the walkthrough.
Yeah.
They were just out on the field here.
Yeah. But yeah, he was. When I saw him in the training table yesterday, he was walking pretty good.
Okay. And I'm thinking that he probably can handle the mental side of it.
I would imagine.
I'm sure.
Now, on the other hand,
who's your left tackle?
Well, it's Chuma.
Yeah.
They're not changed two things. I don't feel good about that. But as a consolation, Miami Dolphins could very well have three guys missing from their offensive line. We know Connor Williams.
Before you go to the Dolphins,
Okay.
let me ask you real quick, where is Willetsko on things right now?
That's a really good question.
Thank you very much. That's why I'm here.
He has not been activated yet.
Right.
I was going to say.
He was designated to return. His window started.
And this is the first time, I think, this week he's listed as fully practicing.
Okay.
So you might be able to keep him active, but he hadn't played all year. So would you?
So what do you? So here's my question. Yeah, from a backup standpoint,
you want Awesome,
okay,
or do you want Willetsko, who hasn't played all year?
Awesome.
I want someone to play Awesome.
Yeah, I agree. And if you activate Willetsko, you got to
make a move.
Yeah. So
okay, now get to the Dolphins.
The Dolphins.
This is a juicier.
Yes.
That's not juicier, but it's juicy.
Well, yesterday. You had a couple inside scoops already before the practice report even came out yesterday, because you saw from your people in Miami, Tyreek Hill was out on the field participating in practice. So that was the one note from yesterday.
Let me check my sources.
No, I got your sources.
Okay, all right.
Mike McDaniel already
spoke to the media
that right guard Robert Hunt will miss his third consecutive game. So he had been listed as not practicing all week. And so they basically have decided he's out. And then the right tackle, Austin Jackson,
with an oblique injury.
They are saying he would be limited today after not practicing Wednesday and Thursday. So that's going to be questionable. So if he doesn't play, they could be down 3 starters on their offensive line.
That's big.
They expected Tyreek Hill to be practicing today. McDaniel said he needs to get through Friday's practice. So yesterday he went from did not practice to limited, and they were going to see how much he can do today after doing some stuff yesterday. Also, Xavier Howard, who has been listed so far as out and limited, he said he's good to go, and McDaniel said we'll see what the trainers have to say. So okay. I would imagine he's going to be questionable also. And by the way, Ndamukong Suh did visit the Dolphins. Mm-hmm. McDaniel said we had a nice discussion. So no roster move. But he also said bringing him in, you just don't want to assume things, meaning, oh, he can't play, he's, whatever. So they did bring him in. So that kind of gives you an idea of where the majority of the injuries are. And it sounded like Hooker for the Cowboys, who I believe he missed both days, right? Wednesday and Thursday. Let's see. Yes. No, they listed him as limited yesterday.
Okay.
So I think that's a good sign that he's on the mend. He had an ankle. I think he'll be good to go. And we know Jonathan Hankins is out. I would imagine he's out this week and probably next week with a high ankle sprain. And a knee, too, by the way.
He's he's not having a great time, I'm sure, right now.
The Dolphins' offensive line and Austin Jackson it has been confirmed now through my sources in Miami that he was out on the field.
Out on the field.
So he was actually doing something in practice today, their right tackle.
So McDaniel did that as press conference before they practiced.
So Teron Armstead, their left tackle, who came back from injury last week, okay, he should be starting at left tackle for them. And then they've got Lester Cotton, who has been starting at left guard, a college free agent 2019. Liam Eichenberg, who moved from left guard to center when Connor Williams went down with his ACL injury 6 plays into the Tennessee game 2 weeks ago. He is the starting center. Robert Jones, college free agent 2 years ago, is the starting right guard. And if Austin Jackson can't go, then Kendall Lamb, who was a college free agent in 2015 out of Appalachian State, who is primarily a left tackle, would slide over to right tackle to play.
Very good.
I think the Cowboys might be able to take advantage of what the Dolphins have on their offensive line. It sounds
that way. And Raheem Mostert has not practiced the last 2 days, but they did put knee, ankle, and rest. So I would imagine he will be out there. And I've got some pretty good stats on him.
Okay, which we will get to when we come back, previewing Cowboys and Dolphins when Mick Shots continues in a moment.
I'm Dak Prescott, quarterback of the Dallas Cowboys.
And they snap it to Prescott, who looks right. It's not there. He escapes left. He'll run for a first down.
Just like football, when it comes to crypto, it's important to have a team you can trust. With blockchain.com, I know I'm in good hands. Since 2011, they've been trusted by millions around the world to buy, sell, and trade cryptocurrency.
Prescott's going to run this himself. Run it up the middle, and he scores.
Whether you're new to crypto or an active trader, they've got you covered. What are you waiting for? Get started at blockchain.com.
We know that juicy, cheesy, grilled to perfection burger sounds amazing, but it does sound like something is missing. Pepsi, baby! The yin to this burger's yang. Burgers and Pepsi go together like burgers and Pepsi. This perfect blending of flavors makes every bite of lettuce, every sesame seed on the bun, and every sip of that crisp, refreshing, ice-cold cola a journey to Foodtopia. Burgers, better with Pepsi. That's what I like.
The Medal of Honor is our country's highest military award for valor in combat. More than 40 million individuals have served in the armed forces since the Civil War. Fewer than 4,000 have received the Medal of Honor. The National Medal of Honor Museum will be a place to preserve these legacies and inspire America. It's being built right next door to the Dallas Cowboys in Texas. Help us honor our country's greatest heroes. Learn more and get involved at mohmuseum.org.
Did you know that responding to one spam call can lead to more? Or that the IRS would never ask for your social security number on the phone? Beat scammers at their own game by subscribing to AARP Fraud Watch Network alerts and texts. At aarp.org/beatscammerstx, you can sign up to receive information that helps you recognize and avoid the latest scams. That's aarp.org/beatscammerstx.
To Mick Shots.
K-Post Roofing and Waterproofing, the official roofer of the Dallas Cowboys.
All right, we continue here on Mick Shots on a Christmas Eve edition as we get you set for Cowboys-Dolphins. 3:25 kickoff Dallas time on Christmas Eve. I had the opportunity last night. This has really been a fun week for me since I'm off from my other job.
How does that happen
Wait,
during
you've been
football
off?
season?
So I've had more time to devote to like looking back at the Bills game, looking at more closely at the Dolphins. If I could just do this all the time, that'd be great.
So I got to say, yesterday, Mickey was sitting here looking up some stats on a page, and I look over at your notebook, and I swear you had it every single same thing on the page written, and I was like,
that's how I prepare.
We could print, but Bill has his own way of doing everything.
That's right, old school. Anyway,
well, there's a trick to that too. some of us have to write things down
To remember
them.
That's right.
Unfortunately,
Yeah.
I was probably through college before I figured that out,
Mm-hmm.
right? Like studying for tests. It's like, write it down.
That's why.
Exactly.
That's why I have this big green NFL draft scouting notebook, and I look at it every spring semester. That's my class for the spring semester, just like you were for us, old school, back in college, where we had a notebook and I'd write things down, whatever, and so I write down about these college players, and that's how a guy's in the league for 10 years. That guy, he's from Nebraska or he's from whatever.
Yeah.
Now it's in my memory bank,
Right, exactly.
And if I just was looking at stuff, I would never remember that. But the fact you write it down, that's what commits it to memory.
Oh, I know. I've hopped on the legal pad train.
There you
here.
go.
See there,
That's
very
right.
good.
That's right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Me and
But
Mickey, we
you
got
can
it.
actually writing it down. It doesn't have to be in a notebook, physically writing it. It
It's
can
just
be just
anything.
writing it down, typing it into a laptop or something too.
Or just writing like someone's name down so you remember it.
Because there was a time, like when I was doing Ranger games. Now I was ahead of my time on that. I would use a laptop to do everything because I knew, like in the broadcast booth, I had the laptop at my fingertips, and so I could quickly go to stuff.
Yeah, quick access.
But like for TV shows and stuff, if I'm out here doing Cowboys TV shows about the draft or anything, well, I can't. I don't have time, the ability to get on a laptop to do that. So I found that it was easier writing it down on a legal pad like Mickey has right there, or a notebook, whatever.
And wait another 10 years.
So anyway, it's been great. Going back and looking at the Bills game.
Yes.
I thought T.J. Bass was fine at right guard. In fact, I think going forward, the Cowboys have to feel really good about that college free agent out of Oregon, and asked Mike McCarthy about him yesterday. He's enthused about him as well. I mean, he had one play in the game against Buffalo that was glaring, where a sack occurred, and it was I think it was Jordan Phillips who got free.
It was.
But it was a 3rd-and-1 play at the 39-yard line, and they had tight splits. He was playing right guard, and his left foot stepped on Tyler Biadasz's foot, and so he slipped and fell, and so Jordan Phillips was able to blast through to get to Dak. That was the only glaring issue that I thought that that he had.
Possibly going forward, if whenever Tyron is done, you move Tyler Smith to left tackle, and Bass right now looks like he can play left guard.
Well, and then going forward, I don't know how many is Zach Martin going to play another half decade?
They better hope so.
But going forward, even as far as Zach is concerned,
Right.
you've got a young guy who can be groomed, and if Tyler does kick out to left tackle, then you've got a guy who can.
And
you can
remember,
plug in there.
from training camp and really kind of early in the season, when they do the quarterback warm-up aside, he's got his hand on the ball. Mm-hmm. So they were kind of looking to see if he could possibly be a backup center.
How many snaps did he have last week?
All but 10.
I think he had
So I think it was 47. I think the offense had 57 snaps in the game, and I believe he had 47. Zach had 10. So anyway.
Bass had 47, 82%. Yeah.
So, but go ahead. You had something that you.
I was going to point out about Raheem Mostert, and
We'll just continue to go with Mostert here. For
Mostert.
those of you
Mostert.
in Miami, we understand it is Mostert, but just hang with Mickey.
Mostert.
Mose. And I wrote it down.
And by the
with
way, it's not
a Z. Mose.
And let me admit this. Okay, I said Seiler earlier in the week. It's Zach Seiler, who's a really good player on their defense.
But now I've got Raheem down here.
There you go.
Okay,
All right.
and
we've been everyone's been told it's A-Chan. Okay.
A-Chan.
Yeah.
A-Chan.
And I was reminded that McDaniel and Mostert were with each other in San Francisco. And when McDaniel got the job as the head coach in Miami, the first free agent he signed was Raheem. He saw something in him. And one of the notes from Miami is Mostert broke Ricky Williams, Mostert, sorry, Ricky Williams' franchise rushing TD record for a single season with his 18 right now. And also broke Mark Clayton record with 25 touchdowns from scrimmage. So two pretty good guys that played for the Dolphins. And Ricky Williams was his guy growing up in New Smyrna Beach, Florida. And he and his brother both wore Ricky Williams' number, which at that time was 34. Now, how about this? So he's got 18 rushing touchdowns at the age of 31. He's the fifth player in NFL history to score a total of 20 touchdowns at 30 years or more old. The others, Priest Holmes, John Riggins, and this is from scrimmage, okay? Randy Moss and Lenny Moore.
Wow.
The old Baltimore Colts running back, right? And the next touchdown he scores will break LeGarrette Blount's, or pass LeGarrette Blount for third most rushing touchdowns by an undrafted player since 1967.
Wow.
So usually running backs at the age of 28 or so, they start declining, right? This guy's 30.
Well, he didn't get very many carries
31,
until age 28.
Yeah. So he's got tread on the tire, right?
That's right.
So I went to North Texas with Jeffrey Wilson Jr., who is their other running back, and he and Raheem were both in San Francisco at the same time, and they both went over to the Dolphins at the same time.
Yep.
So
you can tell McDaniel liked both of them, and they also know. And before San Francisco got McCaffrey, they did running back by committee, and they were primary guys on that committee.
Right.
And so McDaniel just took both of them from San Francisco.
And he had suffered a bad knee injury in San Francisco, and I don't know if that's why they gave up on him and made the trade for McCaffrey.
Yeah, in 2021, he had only one game played.
It was pretty significant, too, as I remember. So 34 yards away from a 1,000-yard season, by the way.
Before age 27, in 2019, Raheem Mostert had a total of 42 carries in the National Football League. After being undrafted in 2015, he was with Cleveland, Miami, Baltimore, Chicago, before finally landing with San Francisco his end of his second year in the league, and then was with the Niners until last season, and then McDaniel got the Miami job and quickly installed him as his starting running back. And then they draft Achane this year, and that's quite a 1-2 punch now they have at running back. And Mostert is about to go over 1,000 yards rushing. He's 34 yards shy of 1,000.
Is that what I just said?
No.
Gotcha.
I want to see where Tony Pollard is at. Let's do a little comparison here.
Okay.
Pollard has a ways to go to 1,000, I think.
He definitely does. I just want to look up.
It was interesting what Pollard was saying, was it this week or last week, about how he now realizes that at the beginning of the season he was still...
right. He said it yesterday.
Yeah, was it?
Yeah. Or Wednesday.
Yeah. He now realizes the difference in how he is running now as opposed to the beginning of the season, how he was... coming off that injury. And you can see it on the field. A couple of weeks ago, I think I made the comment, man, he looks like he's quicker now. You can see him as he got to the second level. He's about to break one of these.
He looks like how he was playing in training camp when they weren't tackling, like the burst.
Yeah.
And now this has come back. So he's 152 yards short of 1,000. But the things that stood out to me with the Dolphins is Mostert has 18 rushing touchdowns. Think about that, 18. I think I counted up in the league, only like 7 or 8 teams have more rushing touchdowns than 18. What do the Cowboys have? 13.
Okay.
He's got 18 by himself. And the other thing with Achane, now he's only touched the ball running 72 times. He's averaging 8.5 yards a carry.
Right.
8.5.
Yeah. He missed a significant portion of the season, too,
right.
Achane did.
So we're talking fresh legs, and he's, 72 carries, and he's got 7 touchdowns.
It's interesting, and McCarthy has talked about this week, is the motion that the Dolphins use in their offense.
Yeah.
It's not traditional motion a lot of times. A lot of times it is just prior to the snap where Tua will put a guy in motion, and I'm sure it's an indicator for him, an early indicator for him whether the defense is in a man-to-man or zone defense.
Which is why everybody uses motion, but they do it differently.
But typically, most teams put them in motion, and they come all the way across the backfield or whatever. Mm-hmm. Well, there will be almost virtually every play. It seems like he puts a guy in motion, and it's like just a second before the snap, and it helps him, I think, be able to see the defense more clearly and get an early tip on what the defense is doing.
So it's giving that guy that's in motion a running start because he's not going in motion and setting.
But
right?
it also it's the reaction of the defense,
right?
And so the defense is reacting to that motion, which can be the difference in a guy in the run game, even where you're taking a guy, maybe a linebacker, out of the box, and you're almost using it as a blocking tool, okay? Where if that linebacker is going with that tight end who just went in motion, then it's going to clear up that side of the field.
Got it.
And then Achane and Mostert have the speed to get to the second level. Then.
And if people don't really understand what we're talking about, just think of arena football when they would put guys in motion, or the Canadian football where you could go in motion around the quarterback and go forward.
Towards the line of scrimmage.
Well, they can't go toward, but they are in motion running, so they get a running head start. And, that complicates things. And obviously it's working because as a team, they've rushed for 1,955 yards. And, by the way, 26 touchdowns. But when you got 18 from one and 7 from the other, it's pretty easy to get the 26.
The other thing that Tua does, and that's when I asked McCarthy about Tua and what's impressed him the most, and it's a command of the offense that Tua has now. And now that he's in his second year in this offense.
He sees things, right?
Yeah, and you'll see what he will do a lot of times is – even pre-snap, he puts a guy in motion to the right side, and it's almost like a no-look pass that's coming at you, where he's got your attention going to the right side, and he'll just come back and throw it to Waddle over here on the left side on a little square end or something like that.
He's good at confusing people in that way.
Yeah, so just interesting, just studying them. And I would think that they would be a very difficult team to prepare for in a short period of time. And so the advanced scouts on this team, and they've known about the success of this offense throughout the season. I bet the advanced scouts have put in a lot of time to where they've got a lot of their stuff at this point in the season down where that's going to be a very well-prepared Cowboys team going in there to face what they throw at them. All right. Our picks to click and predictions, even from Everson, when Mick Shots continues in a moment.
The Medal of Honor is our country's highest military award for valor in combat. More than 40 million individuals have served in the armed forces since the Civil War. Fewer than 4,000 have received the Medal of Honor. The National Medal of Honor Museum will be a place to preserve these legacies and inspire America. It's being built right next door to the Dallas Cowboys in Texas. Help us honor our country's greatest heroes. Learn more and get involved at mohmuseum.org.
Cowboys football and Miller Lite. What a pairing. Can cracks at kickoff. Tailgates going way past postgame. Sunday night overtimes followed by Monday morning swagger. Brisket in the smoker. Miller Lite in the cooler. America's team playing America's greatest sport. Miller Lite, the only beer of the Dallas Cowboys. Dallas Cowboys football tastes like Miller time. Celebrate responsibly. 2023 Miller Brewing Company, Fort Worth, Texas.
Did you know that responding to one spam call can lead to more? Or that the IRS would never ask for your social security number on the phone? Beat scammers at their own game by subscribing to AARP Fraud Watch Network alerts and texts. At aarp.org/beatscammerstx, you can sign up to receive information that helps you recognize and avoid the latest scams. That's aarp.org/beatscammerstx.
You know that sound anywhere. It's the crisp crunch of that first nacho chip. With its perfect cheese to sour cream ratio sitting atop a layer of delicious beans, it's a sip away from perfection. That's what we're looking for. Add a delicious, refreshing Pepsi and we've achieved absolute nacho nirvana. Because while you can pile those nachos high with every spicy, cheesy, savory topping, there's no topping a cool Pepsi finish. Nachos, better with Pepsi. That's what I like.
Back to Mick Shots.
Get a frame-worthy family holiday photo with Santa at the Star presented by Monument Realty. Santa Claus will be at his Cowboys-themed cottage in the Star District through December 24th. Visit thestardistrict.com/Santa for more info.
All right, so through Christmas Eve, then he heads back to the North Pole.
For the rest of the year.
And
until next Christmas.
Well, he's here, so you can see Santa, then he goes back, and then he makes his rounds.
Yes, exactly.
So, don't be spoiling Christmas.
What do you mean?
Oh, okay.
I'm not. Do you think you'll see Santa? You think you'll see the sleigh on the ride back on the... Are you going to be looking out the window to see if you see Rudolph's red nose?
I bet you're going to see him.
When we go by the moon, and he's...
you'll see that.
Sled.
You'll see you'll be looking at the moon, just seeing if you'll see the silhouette of the
might
sleigh.
even...
Rudolph at the very front of the line.
If they win, he'll wave at the charter flight.
You know what NFL player has the most pressure on him this weekend?
Do tell.
It'll be tomorrow's game, Pittsburgh and Cincinnati. Because the new quarterback for the Pittsburgh Steelers, I understand that Mike Tomlin went to him earlier in the week. He's been the third-string quarterback all year. And he said to him, he asked him, Rudolph, will you drive my sleigh tonight?
We played along with you. I knew something was coming.
I couldn't spit it out.
Only you, Bill.
You remind me.
Mason Rudolph will be getting the start for the Steelers.
My college roommate would do that all the time, set people up for some silliness like that.
Anyway.
Mason Rudolph.
Yep. He'll go down in history if he leads the Steelers.
Don't think somebody won't write that, okay?
I guarantee you.
Don't think. I learned my lesson when I was in college, and I covered a game on Valentine's Day. And the star basketball player for the team
was named Valentine?
Was named Love.
Oh, my.
And I wrote it straight. And the guy that was the instructor.
Is it Bob Love?
Yeah, I don't remember
Love?
what his first name was. And he goes, you had a once-in-a-lifetime shot there, and you'll never get it again. And I learned my lesson about writing straight leads.
You know what? I won an award in high school when the first article I ever wrote for a high school newspaper. It was at the time that Hurricane Carmen hit the Texas coast, And our football team's head coach was Carmen Bonner, and they won their first game down in Austin, and I wrote something about Hurricane Carmen. So it started at a young age for me.
Very good.
Okay, this is a great setup for my picks to click this week.
Yes.
And you're going to love my picks to click on this Christmas weekend.
I can't wait for this.
What twist do we have here?
All right.
Do we want to do Everson's first?
Yes.
His, what'd you say, 1:30 in the morning?
Was it? What time? I didn't even see the time
Yeah, it was
stamp
like
on.
1:30 in the morning.
Okay, we need to. Yeah,
was
we need to read it
1:58
verbatim.
a.m.
1:58.
Even worse.
1:58.
You know he has been thinking about this for the last 2 days. So 2 in the morning, he made his decision.
Okay, do we
got
want
it?
to just read the text here?
You want me to read it?
If you go ahead.
All right. Click to pick. Cowboys 31, Miami 28, Bland and Gallimore with 1 interception each. That is right.
So
Gallimore.
I woke up this morning and I texted back at him on the group text. Gallimore? Question marks. Laughing hysterically. You must mean Gilmore.
See, but he
And
thought I was
Mickey
funny.
chimed in and said, I read that and read Gilmore in my mind. Anyway, so if we're going to give him credit for both.
Right.
If Gallimore or Gilmore get a pick, then he wins, right?
I like that. That's fair.
Yeah, it's a giving season here. So, but 31-28, he's got the Cowboys winning by a field goal, and it's time for Bland and to get another pick.
I agree.
Yeah. By the way, and this quarterback, if you go watch him, I went back and looked this morning. I watched a lot of the Tennessee game. Tua, he will take chances. I mean, some of the passes are really neat. It's threading the needle between 3 defenders, middle of the field, but he will throw it in the middle of the field, and there's some opportunities to get a pick against him.
I think he has 10 interceptions
He
this
does.
season so
Yep.
far.
Yep. So
Well, just remember, he's not real tall. What do you think they list him at?
I think they probably list him at 6'1". Maybe 6'1", 217.
Let's see what they got here.
While Mickey is looking
Well,
that
while
up,
Mickey's looking that up, I'll get started here.
You think he's 6'1"?
I think they probably list
That's
him
what
at
they
that.
list him at.
I think so.
Okay.
I think so. I think he's bigger and he's stockier than
Yes.
what I thought that he was before. Okay.
Okay.
So you're going next, Savannah?
Yes, I just changed my mind last minute.
Oh, you did.
On my
well,
click to
you
pick.
wrote it down on your legal pad.
I wrote it down real quick. Oh, yes.
So you can remember it.
Precisely, Bill. Okay, I'm going with the Cowboys winning 24-14.
Okay.
Oh, wow. Big defensive effort.
I think we're going to have a very big defensive effort. However, as much as I am looking forward to seeing our defense play this weekend, we need to score points. And so my click to pick this week will be Tony Pollard.
Okay.
I'm going with at least 1 touchdown for him. I really liked his attitude this week when we had chatted with him in the press conference. I just think you're coming off a loss from the Bills. It was a tough time for this whole team, but he had a really good mindset going into this week, and moving on was his biggest concept. Move on, get on to the next game, and there was a lot of positivity there. So I'm going with Tony Pollard.
Okay.
All right, I'm up.
You're up.
These teams are quite similar in so many different areas. So I've got the Cowboys winning 32-30, and I'm
Wait.
32.
32.
Yes. Just don't worry about how you get there. 32.
Do you think the Cowboys have ever finished a game with 32 points?
Could be a first.
Okay, all right, go ahead.
They scored 33.
Yeah, well, 33 is not
weird.
Uncommon. 32 is weird.
Well, it's the holiday season. You never know.
32-30.
And
I think that might be the first time in the history of the league there's been a final score of 32-30.
And I'm all about
all
firsts.
Right, very good. Okay.
And pick to click, and I'm going to stick with this until it works. It's going to be DeMarcus Lawrence, because there's a good chance he's going up against a backup offensive lineman on the Cowboys' left side of the defensive front.
Kendall Lamb.
And he will make one significant play that turns this game around. How's that?
I like it.
Okay, so D-Law is your guy.
And I need to go talk to him.
And just to let him know that
he better do something, darn it.
Now, he did some stuff last week.
Yes, he did.
Yes.
He was the best defensive lineman out there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Making run stops, and you know they're going to run on the edge. So D-Law set the edge, buddy.
You know, what the Cowboys need to do defensively more than anything is play under control.
Yes.
I mean,
like smart.
A lot of it last week against Buffalo was just being out of control. I mean, and a lot of reason for missed tackles and stuff when you're playing out of control. Anyway, all right, I was just looking through the history of the Cowboys-Dolphins.
Here we go.
Rivalry.
Get ready for the story.
How many times? Okay, this will be the 16th meeting between the Cowboys and the Dolphins. The Cowboys lead the all-time series 8-7. Okay, regular season all tied up at 7-7. As we started the show, Cowboys won the Super Bowl over the Dolphins in January 16th, 1972. But since then, it's 7 wins for Dallas, 7 wins for Miami. How many times in the 15 meetings between these two teams has Dallas surpassed 30 points against the Dolphins? Twice.
16 times? 2 times?
2 times. 37-20 win in 2007, and the last meeting in 2019, Dallas won 31-6. The only times that they've gone over 29 points in this series. On the other hand, Miami. How many times has Miami scored over 28 points against the Cowboys? Once.
How about that?
It was, where did it go?
Whoa. What year?
One time in 2003, 40-21, the Dolphins beat the Cowboys. The only time they've gone over 30 points against Dallas in the 15 games that they played.
2003. So that's when Bill Parcells squared off against Dave Wanstead. Which, by the way, the last time the Dolphins won a division title was 2008. 15
years ago.
And I mentioned yesterday, didn't I? The last time they've gone this many winning seasons in a row, this is 4. Mm-hmm. It was 97 through 2003.
Yep.
Jimmy Johnson, Dave Wanstead.
There you go.
How about that?
All right, so having said that about these 30-point games, I'm going to go with, we'll continue the trend, both teams under 30 points in this game. And the Cowboys win 27-23 over the Dolphins. And on this Christmas weekend, can I have 2 picks to click?
No.
Why not?
So give me the corny one. And by the way,
I'm going to go.
Shots
fired.
fired.
By the way, we heard from Nate in Frisco.
Yeah.
Wow, Bill. Rudolph, really?
I'm going with the Lion and the Lamb this weekend. It would be Micah on defense. We can't pick Micah, so it's going to be the Lamb on offense and not Miami's Lamb, who spells it L-A-M-M.
The Lamb in the major.
It is C.D. Lamb on Christmas Eve, my pick to click.
You missed the manger thing.
Yep.
All right.
All right.
All right, Chris, get us out of here.
Wait. What was the pod? The pod
pod pick
was I can't remember.
Player with the most receptions in the game.
Player with the most receptions in the game.
He's got Lamb.
CD.
I'm going to take Waddle.
I am going Jake Ferguson.
I knew you were going to. In fact, I was going to shout out Jake Ferguson. Okay. All right.
And Merry Christmas.
Yes. Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas,
we'll
everybody.
We'll be here for the new year.
That's right.
I guess we should have played Jingle Bells instead of Stampede.
I think we should play Rudolph myself.
Right.
Everson, we will see you on Monday.
All right. And yes, that was a good ender right there, Savannah. And for the rest of you, we will see you on Tuesday. But do join the Everson for his off-the-walls Christmas edition of Mix Shots on Monday.
Stop.
Go Cowboys.
Go Cowboys.
This has been a production of DallasCowboys.com and the Dallas Cowboys Football Club.
How about this, Cowboys? Yeah!